This is the city of Puno, Peru, located on the shores of Lake Titicaca. Today I'll be traveling from here to the city of Cusco on a 10-hour train ride, almost 240 miles on rails through the Peruvian Andes. And this is the Titicaca train. It is a tourist train operated by Peru Rail and it leaves the station at 7:30 a.m. Years ago, traveling by train was pretty common among the people of southern Peru because basically there were no paved roads until the late 90s. When paved roads were built, most people stopped using trains and started riding buses or other vehicles to get to their destinations faster. We are now leaving Puno with a view of Lake Titicaca. We get the menu to order lunch, which will be served later, and which, by the way, is included in the ticket price, along with the afternoon tea and drinks. If you want to order breakfast, you have to pay for it since it is not included in the ticket price. After about an hour riding the train through the highlands in Puno, we arrive at the Juliaca station. Juliaca is a large town home to more than 300,000 people, and it is currently the largest city in the Puno region. And it's fair to say that it is also a completely mess. In fact, the way out from the station is a long alley where people have located stalls right next to or on the train tracks, where they sell pretty much everything, just like in Thailand. Okay, let me show you around. Now I'm in the bar car, which also has an outdoor observatory. And to me, this observatory is worth the price of this trip. It's just wonderful. The next car or cars are the dining cars where all passengers travel comfortably seated with a central table. The good thing is that you can go to the observatory car anytime you want. Stretch your legs, enjoy the views, take photos, etc. We are leaving Juliaca now and we pass by the Maravillas Bridge over this river. Don't worry, more bridges over rivers are coming on this trip. I had told you that this observatory car is the best thing on this train. And well, feeling the cold wind on your face traveling by train on these highlands is just priceless. Near the town of Calapuja, there is a group of old houses and apparently a station, all in ruins. Meters ahead, we pass another long bridge over the Ramis River, which eventually flows into Lake Titicaca. It is common to see llamas and alpacas around here, animals that people use for cargo, wool, and meat. Now, a band of musicians start playing some music and making passengers dance and sing. Foreign tourists mainly enjoy this, and yup, singing, dancing, viewing this beautiful scenery on a moving train calls for a celebration of life. We have approached the small town of Tirapata. Here we pass through its old and abandoned station and then over the Tirapata bridge. In the 80s, it was guarded by the Republican Guard of Peru against the threats of armed groups that like to destroy bridges and things. Fortunately, those dark years are long gone. Soon we are in the town of Ayaviri. In former years, when everybody traveled by train, it was a mandatory stop. Everyone would get off the train to eat cancacho, a tasty dish made of roasted lamb. Let me show you the restrooms on the train. It's quite spacious, pretty clean, and has everything you need. Toilet, a sink, soap, mirror, water. I couldn't help but remember the train restrooms back in the 90s. They were pretty much filthy. We are still in the Puno region, and we pass through a lot of small towns. We are close to reaching the highest point of altitude of this trip, La Raya, located at more than 14,000 feet above sea level. Before I take my seat at the table, because we are about to have lunch, I take the opportunity to take in this cold and cozy Andean landscape one more time. The train slows down so that the crew can serve lunch without any problems. First, we get a basket with fresh and delicious pieces of bread, then a kind of soup made of Andean potatoes, and then quinoa with beef and salad, and some dessert. Everything was just wonderful. Lunch is prepared here on the train. There is a whole car dedicated to the kitchen. After lunch, I go back to my favorite place, the Observatory car. I just can't stop contemplating this golden green color of the Andes. The landscape will change later as we approach Cusco. Soon we will arrive at La Raya station, and the train will stop for a few minutes so that we can go out to take some photos, walk around, and also there is a smiling friend waiting for us there. Este es el coche de equipaje y la locomotora que está al inicio de la formación. This locomotive was built in November 1974, so it has been operating for over 50 years on the Southern Railway in Peru, and it still has a few more years to go, if it has a proper maintenance, of course. Here in La Raya, you can visit this small church, buy some souvenirs, take some pictures, or just walk around. After 15 minutes of being here, it is time to leave, and we have to say goodbye to our furry friend. And he gets a couple of pieces of bread. What a nice dog. We are officially in the Cusco region now, and just take a look at these impressive mountains. The way to Cusco is pretty much downhill from now on. The tracks will be almost always next to the Vilcanota River, so everything will start to turn green little by little. We still have about 5 more hours left on this trip, and to me, it could be more. I'm just having a blast. I'm happy. While most trips focus on getting to the destination as soon as possible, this trip is designed to enjoy the way itself. If you want to get to Cusco quickly, you can take a plane, a night bus, or a smaller and faster vehicle. We are in the district of Marangani now. Years ago, passenger train crossings happened here. Before reaching the town of Sicuani, we pass over this long bridge over the Vilcanota River. Now we are in Sicuani, an important and quite large city in Cusco. We pass through its old station. Estación de Sicuani. Esto era para girar las locomotoras o los coches. It had rained so hard that the tracks upon leaving the station were underwater. The train had to go very slowly to avoid any trouble. We continue the journey passing through many small towns such as San Pedro, San Pablo, Tinta, Combapata, Quiquijana, etc. Let us enjoy the magnificent views of this part of Cusco, Peru from a moving train.
prepare the pisco sour, Peru's famous drink. You will enjoy live music, traditional.
The band comes back and they start playing catchy songs that make more than one person dance. We're getting closer and closer to Cusco. Further ahead and near the town of Huambutillo, the tracks and the Vilcanota River take different paths. While the Vilcanota River continues its journey through the Sacred Valley, through Pisa, Ollantaytambo, Machu Picchu, towards the Amazon, the tracks run parallel to the Guatanay River that will direct us towards Cusco. It's already 5:30 p.m. and after 10 hours on this train we arrive in the city of Cusco, which happens to be cloudy, cold, chaotic but radiant as always. I am thrilled to be in the same city that the great Inca Pachacutec remodeled. Pachacutec was a genius. He was the one responsible, along with his son Tupac Yupanqui, for expanding this small Inca kingdom into a great empire. This trip is not cheap at all. In fact, the tickets are quite expensive compared to buses, and it is mostly used by foreign tourists. But it is definitely worth the price if you are into trains and want to experience the train ride through the Andes in Peru. Before entering the Huanchac station in Cusco, you can see these tracks with 3 rails. Well, from the Huanchac station, there is a way that goes to the San Pedro station located in downtown Cusco. From there, trains depart to Aguascalientes, Machu Picchu, and that railroad is narrow gauge. This is the Huanchac station. We can see freight cars and the cars of the Belmont Andean Explorer train, which is a luxury train that travels from Cusco, Puno, Arequipa on a 3-day and 2-night trip. I actually rode this Belmont Andean Explorer train back in 2018. You can find the video in the description box. In fact, I've already traveled on all the railways in Peru. Cusco, Puno, Arequipa, Cusco, Machu Picchu many times, Tacna, Arica, Lima, Huancayo, and Huancayo, Huancavelica. Also in some other countries such as Bolivia, soon in Chile, and the goal is to get to this train. This was a lovely ride. The trip is over and we leave the station being applauded by this wonderful crew.